And can you say also about the notochord and the spine, the development? Can it help for people with back pain or with some issues with discs or so? I feel like now people sometimes have the crazy problems with the discs and spine,
Right.
and the approach is totally shifting. So what's the embryological way of maybe treating myself with?
Yes, 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 yes. Well, the notochord is so cool because it was the main locomotion rod for our bodies through evolutionary times until it was incorporated into our spine as the discs and as the connection through each disc. So embryologically, it's basically what we call the divining rod, the rod that orients everything. Once you have a notochord, you know what's front, you know what's left, you know what's right, you know what's back, and you know how far things are from there. And that is a crucial time in embryology where we actually we organize not only cell to cell or cell tissue to cell tissue, we start organizing the whole. And that's huge for us humans. Also that it was a locomotion. It was a fluid-filled locomotive rod that fish still have, and some fish still use. And the muscles attached to this water-filled rod. It's very powerful. It works. And so to have that rod now have moved back and be inside our spine, it's like, first of all, it's really all that energy and all that knowledge and all the evolutionary knowledge is there, but also it's almost like you finally learned about your family. You learned about stories. You have a depth, and you have a depth of memory and fullness in your body, and that's what the notochord adds. The notochord is amazing because it's at a time before we had a nervous system, before we had senses, before we had eyes. So it's a movement. It's like this. It's really what allows us to feel ourself moving. So it's it's like inner movement. Like there's inner sensing, there's outer sensing, there's movement through space, and there's knowing and noticing and being in inner movement. And it's like sitting in a dark, it's like everything meditation people talk about. It's that deep, old, wise rod that just centers us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know me, so I don't say, oh, if you learn about the notochord, it will help your back.
Yeah.
I'm more like, if you learn about the notochord, you're going to be amazed. It will change you, and it will give you so many opportunities of curiosity and excitement and invigoration and fairy tale and real tale and putting yourself in an evolutionary line. Like, I feel like everybody in the workshop could have a different response to it, but as a group, as a herd, as kind of like cells learned embryologically, we're learning together, and all that is true. There's so much differentiation in embryology. So if 30 people learn the same thing, they'll all have something the same out of it and something like amazing out of it. And that is what people will get out of the embryology, is a lot more specificity of knowing your body from that evolutionary historical concept.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And can you say something like, I feel it's really the body mind centering approach or somatic body approach, it is very somatic, and it's quite different from Hanna or Feldenkrais.
Oh, Hana, you guys know Hana somatics?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
So
very
it's
exercise oriented in such a beautiful way, like a very, they create such a beautiful awareness for the body. And Feldenkrais?
Feldenkrais.
Yeah, Feldenkrais. Oh, it's beautiful. And Feldenkrais, I don't know, Feldenkrais, I love it. I think it's amazing. I love doing it. And I think it's magical. My sense is that unlike BMC or somatic body, we're actually given the tools to create all these all these healing rhythms and things ourselves. Like Feldenkrais held on to it. He was basically like, these are the 3,600 units of classes you can do. But in BMC and in somatic body, I'm like, here are the different phases of embryology. Now explore and come at it from any direction you want, because the body's amazing. And we do a lot more actual anatomy, kind of really beautiful, crazy. Look, once you're in there, you're like, exactly, I want to know exactly where that ligament suspends the top, the top vertebrae from the skull. Like now I want to know. I want to know if it's attached to the front or the back of my occipital hole, the hole in the in the skull. I want to know, is it on the side? Is it on the front? Is it on the back? And where does it touch? And that gives my body the sense. So of how right now I'm doing the one that's attached to the back, by the way. And that anatomical knowledge, and then the developmental knowledge, which is what you'd be learning in the embryology and the developmental, is like a playground that, like, so then you can insert all of your anatomical knowledge into these patterns. Like everything fits in. And so BMC or somatic body really gives you, the student, the more and more material to be able to integrate yourself into these developmental patterns, into your work. And yeah. And I think what people maybe don't talk about as much, but what's integral to like somatic work is really the belief that all of us carry knowledge, healing knowledge, life, aliveness knowledge, and that we're not saying this is right, so follow me. It's like, go into your body, let me help you get in, let me help you experience this, let me help you feel and know yourself more, let me give you more options to move. And it's kind of, it's It's resonating with the person in the moment. And it's improvisational. We're not saying, okay, like try out your hand. See what it means for your fingers in your hand to grow first. Like, what's that like? Like a plant coming out of the earth. So we're not saying, okay, first turn in, then turn out, then turn out. Like really let your mind, let your body come alive with this information, any part of it, and play with it, which is the best way to learn. If you're acting, if you're moving, if you're you're following your own impulse, that's the best way to learn. Like not just following
the instructions.
Yeah. So in a way, we're like, okay, you need to engage with this material in order to understand it, in order to keep the body a priority, not the mind, not the thought about it. And each group will learn something new that I have never gotten to as clearly. Yeah.